Well, ladies and gentlemen and boys and girls of all ages, so today I want to make this video of when will my Mahadasha starts, what is Mahadasha, and some of the additional things about Mahadasha that you guys need to know. And the reason why obviously I'm making this video because if you saw my Michael Jordan video, meeting Michael Jordan, I entered a new Mahadasha. And I entered in the exact same 30 minutes that I very first saw Michael Jordan come in. So that was like a huge coincidence, you know. And there is a way to find out exactly what time you enter your Mahadasha. Not just the day, but the time, okay? And for those people, you know, obviously most of you know what Mahadashas are. Most of you realize what Mahadasha is and what it's doing. But for all the new people who do not know what this word Mahadasha is, because it's extremely important, you guys don't realize. Entering a new Mahadasha is probably the most important event in your life that occurs multiple times, depending upon how long you live, okay? And this part, you know, is something that really differentiates Vedic astrology from other types of astrology. So first, if you do not know, you know, what Mahadasha you're running, what planetary time period you're in, so you can find out exactly what situations you're going to be running into. For that, obviously, check out the links here where you can get my full astrological report, where you will find out on page 6 exactly what Mahadasha you're running, the planetary time periods you're running, including my books, Astrology, Conjunctions, and Aspects of the Speed of Light, where I talk about this stuff in more detail. But this is the video, you know, not only for people who know Mahadasha, but because there's going to be additional information that I'm going to share here. But what is Mahadasha? Mahadasha are planetary time periods that every single human being and living organism is running to. Even a dog or a cat is running through a certain Mahadasha. Mahadasha meaning the major time period, major planetary time period. Okay? And these time periods go into chronological order for every human being. And they do not change. So let's say if you were born in your Venus Mahadasha, Venus time period for somebody, for actually everybody, if they run into a Venus Mahadasha, it's a 20-year long time period. And then after you complete that, chronologically, you're going to run into 6-year time period of Sun, then 10-year time period of Moon, then 7-year time period of Mars, then 18-year time period of Rahu, the north node of the Moon, then 16-year time period of 16-year time period of Jupiter, sorry, the 19-year time period of Saturn, followed by 17-year time period of Mercury, then followed by 7-year time period of Ketu, the south node of the Moon, back to 20-year time period of Venus. And this thing will go chronologically for everybody. Now, one person might be born into their Moon time period. One person might be born into their Ketu time period. But as soon as they complete their Ketu time period, that little child or 7-year-old boy or girl will start from a 20-year time period of Venus after that. For the person who was born in the Moon Mahadasha, they will start from Mars time period after that. So these chronological orders will never end. And obviously I've made a video on Mahadashas, and that video is right there. You can check it out. What are Mahadashas? And this will tell you exactly in a far more detail what Mahadashas are, okay? But this period is literally about what time or when will my Mahadasha start, you know? And as for this, obviously, you know, you have to know, you have to have a full astrological report for this. This is why you have to get the full astrological report here. And this will tell you, okay, once you get this report, on page 6, as you see here, it tells you right there that in 1995, on those particular month and date, your Venus time period started all the way to 2015, and it will end on 2015 this and this date. I'm saying this and this date because I forgot to remember the start of the month and day. But these are your planetary time periods that you go through, the timetables. And for everybody, it'll be different. But the chronological order that I showed you will always be the same. After Venus, Sun will come, and then Moon will come. After Mercury, Ketu will come, then Venus will come. Okay? So these dates, become very important, because now you're going to enter into a new time period. So let's say if you are going through Sun in the 7th house time period for 6 years. In this time period, you may have gone towards a lot of ego battles with your spouse, came across very authoritative people in your life. Your personality was all about, your ego was all about interacting with other people of higher caliber. But then comes a Moon time period. And let's say Moon is situated in your 5th house. What will happen then, starting that particular day when your Moon time period starts? Well, what you're going to experience is you suddenly will feel emotionally connected to your children, if you have children, and if you're at that age. You're going to feel emotionally connected to having children. You're going to be emotionally connected to creative self-expression, or your mind will always be in studies and learning for that 10 years, because that's what 5th house represents. And this is how your life focus changes in life. This is why this is so important, and especially the reason why I'm making this video is because the time your Mahadasha starts, it is the most important day. And one thing I would tell you this, if you think you were born between 10-minute time period, even if you think you were born a minute late, a minute early, or 2 minutes late, your Mahadasha, if you were a minute late, your Mahadasha might take place 2 days before or 3 days after. If you were 10 to 15 minutes, if you do not know if you were born between 9 or 9:15 and you just know you were born between that time, then your Mahadasha of each planetary time period might have started a month earlier or might start a month late. So on that, when you do not know your exact time of birth, then it becomes difficult. Then you just know, okay, well, my Sun Mahadasha is started next month, or will start next month, or it's already started last month. But the thing is, the way you'll be able to feel a new Mahadasha come in is something within you will change. Something significant happens. Like when my Mahadasha started, just in that hour, Michael Jordan came out. He was my hopes and wishes, my dream to come true, to not just witness Michael Jordan, but interacting with him. I never thought I could do that. And that particular Mahadasha that started just gave me the answers. Wow, my hopes and wishes are coming true. Same thing with my previous Mahadasha. Because I went back, I'm like, okay, if this was significant, what happened when my last Mahadasha started? The last time my Mahadasha started, in that exact same week, I graduated high school. I achieved I got an educational achievement in that week, and it was so coordinate to my planetary time period. So you will automatically feel, suddenly if you start feeling emotional, suddenly if you start feeling like, oh my God, why am I so emotionally attached to this thing? And your time period is going to start. Well, that probably is the triggering point of that time period, because it's not like planetary rays are suddenly arranging their Mahadashas for you. No. It is a time bomb in your, not a time bomb. It's like an alarm clock in your body's energy, where it says, okay, for the first 7 years, I'm gonna change the wiring of this person to think like this and act like this. And once this time period is over and a new alarm clock goes off, then for the next 20 years, the body says, okay, I'm going to make this person go into this creative mode it towards, interacting with women, media, meeting celebrities, because it's a Venus time period. So that changes then. The person suddenly becomes more creative for the 20 years. Let's say Venus is in the 5th house. You become very creative towards your children. You want to do creative things with your children. You want to be part of cinema, media. Suddenly you feel like, oh my God, I should be doing something creative. And it prolongs all the way for 20 years. This is why these time periods are so important, and this is why Vedic astrology is so different and interesting. And it's amazing how many people who have loved Western astrology for all these years are now suddenly into Vedic astrology because they see, oh my God, my moon, instead of being in the 4th house, is now in the 3rd house, and oh my God, that is exactly what it's doing in this sign. Oh my goodness, my Saturn Mahadasha started from this point to this point, and oh my God, I experienced exactly the same thing. I became mature, I became responsible, I was just workaholic and working hard. All of these things people are experiencing. And this is why I wanted to make a video. Even though I made a video on Mahadashas before, I think I did not emphasize the importance of Mahadasha, the importance of these planetary time periods you run into. This is why it's so important that, to understand what is coming, what are the things you're going to be experiencing, okay? And what you should be doing now in this time period. Perhaps now it's a time for you to leave your job and do your own business. Let's say Mercury is sitting in the 7th house or the 2nd house. And you've been working as an accountant or something, okay? Or a money manager somewhere. And for the past 6 months or a past year or two, you suddenly wanting to do your own business. And now you just cannot hold it inside. And now that you find out that, oh my God, my Mercury time period started for 17 years, my Mercury is in the 7th house, Mercury is a natural businessman, 7th house is the house of business and doing trade with other people, joint business with your spouse or with a business partner. Well, hello, this is the time for you to now go in there, because you know why? If you do not do business in this time period, Mercury will keep bugging you for that time period, okay? But if it's destined, Mercury will automatically take you in and make you do business. This is why it's so beautiful, this time periods, these Mahadashas. And obviously, chara dasha in Jaimini astrology. See, there's Parashara astrology in Vedic astrology, and then there's a second branch called Jaimini astrology. And then there's a third branch called Bhrigu Nadi Jyotish. But what we're saying is that the Jaimini astrology, chara dasha, not Mahadasha of basic Vedic astrology, but chara dasha in Jaimini astrology will also play its additional part. But obviously, if you're going to a 20-year time period of Venus, and then you suddenly start your, let's say, 4-year period of Saturn, well, you will always experience what Venus is doing. But at that same time, you'll also, for that 3 years, will become part of the Saturn's time period as well. So I've made a video on that called Chara Dasha and Jaimini Karakas. These are Jaimini lessons, Jaimini lessons. These are 4 video or 5 video lessons I've made. Jaimini astrology is actually far easier than even Vedic astrology or basic Parashara Vedic astrology. But let's stick to Mahadashas. Let's start from baby steps. You have to, definitely know, because Vimshotri Mahadashas that I'm talking about here in this video are the king of Mahadashas. This is what every astrologer should look at first. And they do look at first, whether they are, Parashara astrologer, Jaimini astrologers, Lal Kitab astrologers, or, KP astrologer or Bhrigu astrologers. Whatever branch of astrology they're following, they always look at Vimshotri Mahadasha. This is why all the new people, whether you're from United States, Canada, South Africa, UK, you all should and must know what your Mahadashas are and when it's going to start. Now, let's say you look at your page 6 and you see that you're going to start your Mahadasha on May 1st, which is coming. Let's say you were going to start your Mercury time period of 17 years on May 1st. Okay, so today is May 1st and you're going to start your Mercury time period. Well, what time is it starting? For that, if you know your accurate time of birth to the minute, what you should do is you should first know what your ascendant is when you were born. So let's say if you were Libra ascendant, okay, and ascendants are rising every 2.5 hours from the eastern horizon where sun rises from, every 2.5 hours, there's a certain zodiac sign rising. That becomes everybody's ascendant. So you were born at that time period when Libra was rising behind the horizon, and that is your lifelong ascendant. So now, on that particular day, on May 1st, when your Mercury time period is starting for 17 years, you wait to see what time Libra ascendant is going to be rising through Vedic astrological calculations. And once you know that they are rising, let's say it's rising at around 1 p.m. So at 1 p.m. when Libra sign is rising and Libra sign hits the exact same ascendant degree as your birth horoscope. So let's say you were born at 15 degree Libra when you were born. You were born at 15 degree Libra because each zodiac sign is 30 degree long. So each ascendant is 30 degree long. So you were born at 15 degree Libra. So you wait till Libra becomes 15 degrees. At 15:01 is when your Mercury time period starts. Bam! Right there. And that becomes your dasha pravesh. Dasha pravesh meaning entering a dasha. That's the English meaning of that. And dasha pravesh is a video I made on something that I found out which was new through Kapiel Raaj. But I actually just knew what time you enter your dasha. I did not know that that becomes a chart as well, and you can decide, predict from there as well, which I don't want to talk about here. It's too complicated. I'm just simply saying what time your dasha will start. Now, obviously, you do not have the tools. You do not have the, you do not have the softwares, the tools to see exactly what time it's going to start. So don't worry about that. Once you get the report from the site and you see that this day is my Mahadasha is going to start, okay? Don't worry about what time it's going to start. Time's going to come and go. Okay, it's good, you know it, special time, whatever. But the day it's going to start, okay, when the sun is rising, what you should do on that particular day when the sun is rising, pour water to the sun. Pour water to the sun, towards the sun. So when the water is going in the front of your eyes and the sunlight is hitting, and it slithers through your forehead, what it's doing, it's separating all the colors through the water, and the light is coming to your forehead and enlightening you, and it's cleaning you. You want to be clean for that dasha. So that's one thing you can do for that morning when sun rises. Another thing you can do, anytime that day your Mahadasha starts, go to a temple and pour milk on a shivling. And ask shivling to bless you with the best Mahadasha. Ask whatever you want to shivling. You want $1 billion, ask shivling. It doesn't matter. $1 billion is nothing for shivling or a universe. It's simply a symbolism of universe. That's it. Just ask the source energy, the shivling. Hey, thank you for everything you've given me. Please give me a blessed Mahadasha. Make all my dreams come true. Okay. So once you do these things, at least do because I was in Vegas, I couldn't do the shivling thing. At least I just did the Surya Namaskar in the morning. But once you do this, it becomes a very significant day of your life. Because today, you're shedding your skin. You're shedding your skin of the old you, and now it's a new you. If you were all fun and games before, now you might be serious. Now you might be workaholic. Now you might be striving towards a goal. Or if you were very serious before, or if you were very spiritual before, now it's time for you to creatively shine in the world. This is why it's so important to know your Mahadasha and when it will start. Okay? So guys, I hope you guys have learned something quite simple and very, very important about when your Mahadasha will start and what to do on those time periods. So as always, if you're new to my channel, subscribe below. And again, if you want to know when your Mahadasha is going to start, what Mahadasha you're currently running through, and what situations is giving, for that, check out the links here and check out my full astrological report, including all my books that will tell you all the secrets of astrology. Otherwise, we'll see you next time with 9th Lord in the 4th house. Bye-bye.